Something that I almost always seem to hear in settings in which I'm a paid employee whose personal politics aren't exactly a professional thing to bring up is this non-issue of the Spanish language being made accessible to citizens, undocumented workers, and tourists. I used to get this all the time as a cashier. It would frustrate me to no end to hear privileged white folk complaining about the inconvenience of having to press the English button on a card reader or flip a box over to find the English instructions. They treated that milliseconds worth of extra work as if it was single-handedly ruining their entire day. They were always so melodramatic as they loudly sighed, pushing a button as if it took the same amount of strength as it takes to do a push-up. My question is, what is wrong with you people? I've never been in such a rush that a fraction of a second has been the deciding factor in my supporting the accessibility of someone else, especially not the incredibly hardworking and underappreciated Hispanic and Latino citizens who do a large portion of this country's grunt work for very little money. How entitled do you have to be to complain about such a micro inconvenience which makes such a huge difference to so many other people? This is America, speak English, they'll say. Newsflash, there's actually no official national language for this country, and while English is the most commonly spoken language, Spanish is the second. This country holds the world's 5th largest Spanish-speaking population. In fact, the first permanent U.S. colonies were Spanish-speaking ones. To say that the Spanish language doesn't belong in the U.S. is incredibly ignorant and selfish. Nobody is forcing you to learn another language. Not that that would be such a bad thing. You can still read directions in your own language, and yours is the one most prominently represented on products and signage. In fact, unless you're walking through one of the few remaining ethnic enclaves in the United States, yours will be the default language provided. I find it remarkable when older folks complain about, it didn't used to be this way. You didn't used to have ATMs or card readers either, but you sure adapted to those changes, didn't you? As for other similar complaints, your desire to eavesdrop on other people's private conversations when they're speaking their native tongue is not the sort of brave injustice that anyone other than low-key racists are going to side with you on. I know a lot of this stems from the fear that they're talking about you, but seriously, you're not that important. The world doesn't revolve around you. The problem here is rooted in white supremacy and colonialism, plain and simple. You may think you're harmlessly pointing out some quirky observational humor or something, but you're really just telling me that, at best, you're inconsiderate and thoughtless. At worst, you're a racist. Neither reflect very well on you. And when you're sharing this with a customer service rep or fellow professional, you're putting them in the really awkward position of wanting to school you, but having the professional obligation to stare blankly at you while silently judging you. Unfortunately, I've yet to master the art of making it clear that I disagree with someone's disgusting statement without causing a scene and losing my job, so if anyone has any tips on that, please let me know. In the meantime, I'm just going to make the blanket statement. If you're complaining about Spanish or any other language besides English being available to people in this country, you're an ignorant, selfish, spoiled brat, and nobody wants to hear it.